Today I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I've been doing over the week for Friday sews. Hello dear sewing friends, Deb here from Slap Happy Sewing. Okay, today I've got a few things. I've got a little piece of paper here to remind me what I'm going to talk to you about. Just for once, I'm going to try and organise myself a bit. Oh yes, so first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who made comments, nice comments about my hair colour. You can see already, the light's pretty good in this room, but you can see it's already getting lighter, and that's the way it goes. It's like, I always say it's making its way back to orange all the time, a sort of blondie orange colour. I actually like it when it's a little bit softer like it is now, but of course I'm going to have to colour the roots soon. Oh well. If that's the worst problem I have, I'm doing all right, aren't I? Another thing I wanted to do was respond to a video that Penguin and Pear put out, because I thought it was excellent and very thought-provoking, and it was about sort of what sewing brings to your life. That's why I've got a few notes here. I wanted to just go through some of the points she makes. Now, it's funny because she's made a few videos and I thought, gosh, she's channeling me. She's channeling what I'm thinking about at the moment. I had actually come to the point of thinking, well, I think I need to sort of, I've spent a lot of time learning my craft. I've gained some expertise. I've still got an enormous long way to go. Would like now to sort of perhaps express myself a little bit more and make my clothes a little bit more special, but I want to feel really good about them and really good in them. I think everything in my wardrobe I can wear now, and I like it fine. So if I'm going to replace those garments, because I probably do have enough clothes, so what I want to do is replace those garments with things I like better. So yeah, and today I'm going to show you a Cashmerette Alcott dress that I made, and I have literally put that into my wardrobe and taken a dress out, a shop bought dress that I didn't like very much, and given it to charity. So that's what I want to do, is to try and say sort of one in, one out, instead of just making more and more clothes. The funny thing is, there's a lot about that also has been running with my art. Like, this sewing journey has made me think a lot about my journey with art, or having to learn something that's, you know, got some probably quite detailed skills and is quite difficult. Actually, I'm making YouTube videos also comes under that category. There's lots of new skills to get, and I have found actually now when I think about my sewing, one thing about sewing is, you know, you start off with a pattern and you follow the directions, and there's a bit of creativity in picking fabrics and all. Then as you progress on, you get more and more creative. You start to think more and more creatively about what your garments might be like and how the whole wardrobe you have might work together. I think I'm getting to that stage now, where I'm not just sort of making individual garments to see if I'm actually capable of making them, but moving my way forward and trying to create now more of a cohesive wardrobe. Interestingly, with my art, I had done a couple of little courses on art, but the focus always seemed to be on, oh, you need to be creative, you know, it's all about creativity. But in fact, I felt that I hadn't really built up the basic skill. With a sewing analogy, like a fashion designer, like from the get-go, without ever learning to sew or to see how garments are put together or how fabrics work, and it's almost like with art, they never sort of say, well, paint this and follow a pattern, and you know, gradually then you build up the skills. Well, what's happened to me is I've actually been doing that, and I'll cut to a video now where I'll show you a piece of art that I've done, where I've allowed myself to just copy something. I just wanted to record my thoughts. I have just painted this picture. Now, I've been doing art for the last 4 or 5 years maybe, and but I've really just done art in little journals. I've never painted like a full-size picture. This is the first one I think I've ever painted. And what brought me to getting the courage to do this was sewing. In sewing, it's perfectly all right to use patterns and other people's ideas, and then as you go forward you probably start getting ideas of your own and start, you know, every one of your garments gets more and more original. Just been listening to Penguin and Pear about, she, you know, in a way she was saying the same, that, you know, eventually you want every garment to end up being a piece of art, but there's a journey to get there. And ditto with my art. So I had kind of got stalled on my journey because the pressure to make an original piece of art had made me feel like I can't copy anything. What really has unlocked this, being able to make full-size pictures, was copying. This is from a little calendar, look, that I had been gifted a few years ago, and I loved it so much. I love the paintings, and I thought, well, as I want to develop my skills and learn to work big, why don't I just copy one or two of these paintings? Just to be fair, the calendar is by, it's Joe Grundy's. Another thing Claire talked about was that spending was about spending doesn't fill the void. Now I aspire, that's a journey, not a destination, but I aspire to have only the things that serve me, and that means like things, physical stuff, events, relationships. You know, if it's not bringing value to my life, I want to try and cut it down, because life's too busy for all of us now. We've got so much now that time is the problem. Especially, like, I don't know if you notice that if you're older like me, when you get older you really start to think about the lack of time that you might have to do everything you want to do before your life is going to be over. I don't want to be dismal or anything, but you know, that's the way it is. And this thing about spending doesn't fill the void. Well, that's so true, because I must admit I've got caught up. I have mostly used charity shop fabrics, which I've had available to me, strangely enough, because apparently from my commenters tell me that I don't think there's much available in lots of other places. So I know I've been lucky there. I've managed not to spend too much money so far. And I wanted to give myself freedom to just make whatever, because I knew I had to acquire skills. But yeah, I've got caught up in, I've probably bought more than enough patterns, and I need to be careful. You know, you watch these videos and think, oh, that's a lovely pattern, I want that. And I feel like almost when I buy them, it's almost like I've got the garment, when in fact the pattern is really very much only a starting point. I mean, if you've got a very kind of non-standard figure like me, it really is going to be just the starting point, because I'm going to have to alter the pattern, and then we'll have to see whether it suits me, and you're probably going to have to make a muslin, and I think I'm trying to sort of bring that to mind now when I see pretty things that other people put on their channels, and think, you know, is this really going to be worth the effort? Especially as really I probably have a pattern for most shapes now. I am going to allow myself now though to buy more fabrics, because if I want my clothes to be more sort of special, then I'm probably going to have to buy fabrics that are more special. So I'll be just starting to make some tentative inroads on that journey. Another thing she talked about was being talented, you know, when people say, oh, you know, you're so talented at this or that. And I think all of us that sew know that actually there may be some talent there, but really it's 90% grunt work. But I found that with art, yeah, I think she was really right there. It's time and effort that makes success. And she also talked about size doesn't matter. Now, you know, I'm a bit older now, and I've got a lot more comfortable with my figure than I was when I was younger, which is just as well, because I'm a lot fatter than I used to be too. But I think she's right in that one thing about sewing is it does make you confront yourself. And I think I'm going to make a video about that, because it's a subject in and of itself, about my journey in that direction. Now, what I'm going to move on to now is to talk about the Cashmerette Alcott dress that I made this week, and that was really very much not planned. It was just that the fabric turned up and I just took it in my head to make it up. So here we are. So this dress, and I'll put a picture if I move over a bit. Oh, what you can see in the background, I've just realised it's my freezer, and chairs. Basically, my house is upside down at the moment because my husband's been doing up the laundry room, and actually there's a funny story there that the laundry room is a very awkward shape and he needed to cut it out. And I thought about all the times that we paste pieces of papers together to make patterns, and I said to him, why don't you make a pattern for it? So that's what he did. I'll show you here. It actually worked out quite well, but yeah, this is as far as he's got. So last weekend he basically just needs to sort of do a bit of painting and then put everything back, including the freezer, the toilet. There's a toilet he's taken out and everything. It's all out there on the deck. I'll show you in a minute. But instead of that, he went tramping last weekend, and now he's been busy with another job that's urgent to do all week. So I get put to the back of the queue. Anyway, hopefully he'll get on with it soon, because last weekend I had to go round to my sister-in-law's and wash my clothes because I've got no washing machine. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so this dress, which I'll put there in a picture, it's the Cashmerette Alcott Dress, and I like the dress very much, and I bought some fabric for it, which I showed a couple of videos ago, which I liked very much. It was more expensive than I usually pay, which, to be fair, what I usually pay is like $5 or $10, which is charity shop fabric. But I can't remember what I paid for that, and it probably wasn't expensive fabric, but for me it was expensive fabric. But in the meantime, this parcel came from AliExpress, and I'd ordered a few pieces of fabric from them to see what they were like, and I think I've showed a few before. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, but then this spotted fabric came. Now, when I looked at it, it's not really the best quality, and it's also quite polyestery, and that's what I found with the knits I've had from them. I must try ordering something that's actually cotton and seeing if it's a lot better. But this is very, very polyestery. See, look at the back. Can you see the kind of polyester sheen? But I did think to myself, do a run through of that Alcott dress without using my pretty fabric. So that's what I did. And you'll see the results here. And in fact, I'm really, really happy with this dress. I think it's lovely. I'm totally happy. The only thing about it is it's a little bit snug. And I think the reason it's a little bit snug is it doesn't quite have the prerequisite amount of stretch, which I think is only 20%. But when I checked it, of course, afterwards, I just assumed it would have the requisite amount of stretch, because I'll show you here on the advert, it actually talked about this being suitable for leggings. Well, no way. It's got no lengthways stretch at all, only crossways stretch, and not much of that. So I think I lengthened the bodice, my usual thing of making it an inch lower, up under the arms, because I'm tall anyway. I would pretty much always have to lengthen everything. And I actually lengthened the skirt an inch, and it's got a tiny, tiny little hem on it. It's only just about long enough. It's fine. It's perfectly wearable. I might lengthen it, although I just thought maybe I won't lengthen it, because I think probably I'll check the other fabric that I've got. It's probably got the proper two-way stretch it should have, or is that four-way stretch? Anyway, it's got more stretch than this one. So this one, probably a little bit of a mistake there, but I quite like the way it's snug, and yeah, it's fine. I think I'll wear it. It's good. Yeah, very, very happy with it. And there's something about navy spots, navy with white, always reminds me of my mum. My mum absolutely loves spots, and especially navy with white spots. So it kind of always makes me think of her to see it. But yeah, kudos for the pattern. Absolutely beautifully cut. Honestly, if you're busty and curvy, you probably can't go wrong with Cashmerette. It's just, I don't think, apart from the length adjustments, I didn't make any other adjustments. Oh, I didn't make the flutter sleeve, and that was because when I looked at my piece of fabric, of course, when it comes from AliExpress, 2.5 yards is what I meant to say. That's all this waffle. Ugh. Sleeves take up an awful lot of fabric. I might do the flutter sleeves with the next one. Anyway, very happy with this one. I just watched that bit of video, and you know what? Remember I said to you the best thing to do is video yourself wearing your garments. You know what this garment needs? It needs me to wear my minimising bra and perhaps a little bit of Spanx underneath, and then I think it would look a lot better. I'm going to do it again, and this time I'm going to try it on with the minimising bra and the Spanx. So wait and see. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's Friday Sews. Managed to get another little episode put together. I think it works okay for me as long as I'm sort of off the cuff and I do it quickly. So I hope that's still watchable for you. Thanks for all your lovely comments. Hope you're all doing well and you're managing to stay safe wherever you are. I look forward to talking to you again next Friday. Until then, bye for now. Oh, and as postscript, if I just stand back a bit, my cousin's wife has been staying with me, and she said, well, everything on your bed you've actually made. In fact, everything here in this picture is either something I've made or to be made. So up on the wall here, this is a collage I made. That was after my mother died. Basically, it was horrendous. I had to rush over to England, sort out Mum and Dad's house, and I really didn't have time to grieve, and this was my grieving process, was making this collage. And then you know, all the little cushions on the bed, they are like, I don't really like knitting to patterns, but I often knit little things like this, you know, scarves, cushion covers. So all those little cushions I knitted. And then funnily enough, on the bed, what have I got here? I've got a Cashmerette pattern that I've just taped together that's ready to use. That's the Cashmerette Rivermont, and I've got some it's actually fabric and old batting that I've been cutting up. That's stuff left to cut up, and I'm cutting that up to make a big floor cushion, so you'll probably see those projects coming up soon. But yeah, funny, I mean, as Claire from Penguin and Pears said, you know, it's just like, it becomes like something that's just part of you, that is what supports you, who you are, and making is absolutely that for me. In fact, one of the reasons I want to work part-time is so that I can spend more time making.